Hello everyone, welcome to the introduction video for the Neverhood 1 Chronicles on the PC. This game will have a config and tech video, and there will not be a modding video. I hope you enjoy the information and that it gives you the best Neverhood 1 Chronicles experience. Any links that are covered will be in the description of the video. This game was developed by Neverhood Inc, based in America. The company was founded in 1996 and shut down in 1999. They are known for games such as The Neverhood, its sequel Skull Monkeys, and Boom Bot, a 3D fighting game. The Neverhood was created by Doug TenNapel, who is best known for creating the Earthworm Jim series. I've known about the Earthworm Jim games, but I've never personally played them. I also had no idea that it was from the same guy who did The Neverhood. The Neverhood is quirky, humorous, and a fun game to be sure. Everything in the game is made entirely of clay, and 3 tons of it were used. The type of animation used is called claymation, and it uses a form of stop-motion animation to achieve the game's distinctive look. There are other examples out there in movies and games that utilize this same method. Some examples would be the fighting game Clay Fighter and the popular movie called Nightmare Before Christmas. Speaking of Nightmare Before Christmas, the creator Tim Burton has already done a lot of movies with claymation. It would be cool if he could make a Neverhood movie. A Neverhood film was planned in 2007, but was later canceled due to funding for the project. Along with the graphics style, the game has a strange story, which I won't spoil for you here. That will come in due time when we get to the gameplay videos. The soundtrack for the game was made by Terry Scott Taylor. Very unique as well, making it difficult to tie it to a specific genre of music. It's a mix of jazz, funk, lounge, and jangle pop music. There is what I would call some scat singing in the songs that do have vocals. This type of singing originated from the jazz genre of music. A popular scat song you may have heard is called by, you guessed it, the Scatman. I'll provide links to a playlist of the soundtrack by the channel at Terry Scott Taylor and the official Scatman song in the description of this video. A musical novel called Return to the Neverhood was released in 2012. The story and soundtrack were done by Terry Scott Taylor, and the illustrations were by the Neverhood creator, Doug TenNapel. I've never heard of the term musical novel until now, but it includes 19 songs and is 32 minutes long. I'll provide a link to a playlist of the musical novel by the channel at Terry Scott Taylor in the description of this video. I played this game back when it came out in the 90s, and it's one of the few old PC games that I still have a physical disc of. Looking at the data side of the disc, it's in pristine condition still. This game stood out to me back then, as I had not seen anything that looked like it before. It was a creative idea and was implemented well for the era it was made. The game still looks and sounds good today, despite its lower resolution quality. The Neverhood is one of those games that deserves to be re-released, either as a remaster or a remake. The game is now owned by EA or Electronic Arts, so don't get your hopes up. I generally blame publishers when it comes to these situations, as they won't fund games these days unless they stand to make truckloads of money. This also overshadows anything to do with game preservation for the future. I say at least put the original game up on Steam or GOG.com for $9.99. Unless there are legal issues, there is no excuse to not do this. You can find the game on eBay.com, but you won't find it on any modern digital stores. It's a damn shame when unique games like this get lost in time. I'm going to talk a little about a game walkthrough and something called Hall of Records. So the walkthrough. I'll provide a guide from the Walkthrough King website in the description of the first gameplay Part 1 video. I will be referencing this guide myself if I need to. There's something here called the Hall of Records transcript. The Hall of Records is a location in the Neverhood 1 that tells a long story and provides lore. Even though I already know it's a lot of reading, around 137,648 characters of text. I plan to read this during the gameplay for interested people and for myself. If you're not interested, then you can skip those videos. You can find all this text on my Google Drive as a .txt file in a .zip file. A link will be provided in the first gameplay, Part 1 video description. And when I get to this part in the actual gameplay, I will also put a link to all of this as well, once I start reading what's in this area of the game. Do note, the Hall of Records was removed from the Japanese PlayStation 1 version. When playing the PC version through Scum VM, there is an option to skip the Hall of Records rooms completely. There's literally like 40 rooms that you have to walk through. And there's text on a wall that you can read. You'll see why when we play the game, and I'll explain more about it then. But yeah, I do plan to read this during gameplay. So the genre this game falls into is a point-and-click adventure. And you could even put in, you know, humorous point-and-click adventure in there if you like. How long to beat this game should take roughly 6 hours and 30 minutes to 8 hours and 30 minutes to complete. Like I say, give or take. I'm recording this for YouTube, so I tend to take my time. Let's go over the releases by year. The games released in the Neverhood series can be a little confusing. So let's take a look at the games releases now, and I'll do my best to explain. So the first one we have here is the Neverhood 1 Chronicles, the USA version. This came out on PC in 1996, and this is the version I'll be presenting to you guys. Then we have the Neverhood 1 Clayman 1, The Mystery of the Neverhood. This is a Japanese release that came out on the PlayStation 1 in 1998. Then we have Neverhood 2 Skull Monkeys, the USA version. This came out on the PlayStation 1 in 1998. And then we have Neverhood 2 Clayman 2, the Japanese release that came out on the PlayStation 1 also in 1998. The next game is Clayman Gun Hockey. Came out in Japan on the PlayStation 1 in 1999. Clayman is the character you play in the Neverhood, by the way. Then the last thing we have is called Armicrog. This came out in the US on PC, PlayStation 4, and the Xbox in 2015. And to my knowledge, this is the last game that has been released in the Neverhood universe. So I want to break down the releases in a little more detail for you now. So the Neverhood 1 Chronicles from 1996 is the original release. I will be playing this version through ScumVM, which added support for the game back in 2014, so that it could be played more easily on modern systems and to, try to eliminate any bugs or improve technical aspects. ScumVM is a front end for playing retro PC games and provides compatibility and technical fixes overall, along with a patch. This is the best way to play the game as of making this introduction video. Clayman 1 for the Japanese PlayStation 1 is mostly the same game as the Neverhood 1 on PC. However, it is less complete. It is a less complete version than the PC due to some cut content. The Japanese version also has longer loading times between rooms when you travel throughout the game. It probably has lesser quality graphics compared to the PC version as well. The game Skull Monkeys is considered the direct sequel to the first game. This game is an action platformer and not a point-and-click adventure. Clayman 2 for the Japanese PlayStation 1 should more or less be the same as Skull Monkeys on the American PlayStation 1. Clayman Gun Hockey, while it is an offshoot game, it's some sort of FPS or first-person shooter, where you stand still at a small tennis-like table and shoot a gun at some stuff on the table against an opponent. This was not made by the original developers, but by Riverhill Soft, the developers of the Japanese versions of these games. The game looks pretty terrible if you ask me. Like an arcade game you would put a quarter in and then just mash mindlessly on buttons. The game Armicrog is a spiritual successor to the Neverhood 1. You play as two characters named Tommy Knot and his sidekick Beak. The Armicrog is the name of the fortress the game takes place in. This game goes back to the point-and-click adventure style of the first Neverhood game, which is a good thing. Doug TenNapel, the creator of the Neverhood, teamed up with the developers, Pencil Test Studios, for this game. I've not played this game yet, but I have high hopes for it when I do. In the next video, we will be getting into the configuration and technical side of things. I will record the desktop of my PC, folder view on the left, and my notes on the right. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.